everybody. Good day or good evening. This is Lolo Pidot. I'm heading to the Richard Nixon Library and Museum here in Yorba Linda, and I'll show you the place and tag along. Okay, I'm using now the 91 freeway. I'm using the fast track. It's a 2-lane, and you could see it's so clear in my lane, and there's the traffic inside of the 91 freeway. They charge you should have a transponder or a fast track sticker, so they could bill you whatever charges they have. Like today, they are charging like $2.25 to use the lane, or it depends upon up to what distance you will be going. So tag along, we'll go to the museum then. Okay. Okay, we are here in Richard Nixon Presidential Library and Museum. Richard Nixon was the 37th President of the United States, serving from 1969 to 1974. A member of the Republican Party, Nixon previously served as the 36th Vice President, having risen to national prominence as a representative and senator from California. After 5 years in the White House that saw the conclusion to the U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War, he became the only president to resign from the office following the Watergate scandal. So this is the President Richard Nixon. So this is the Presidential Library and Museum. This is the first Richard Nixon. It's a public picture of them. They have 2 kids, actually 2 daughters. They have some items here in the gift shop. Goodbye also. So this is outside. This is going outside. So you can see the view also. So actually, President Nixon was a president from January 20, 1969 to August 9, 1974. Okay, so let's go inside now. This is in the 60s when Richard Nixon was sworn in January 20, 1969. he became president of a nation that was experiencing dramatic social and political upheavals. So this is the replica of the Oval Office. That's the desk of the president.
Sir, welcome to the Oval Office.
Okay.
This is a replica of the Oval Office. We do request that you not use it. Feel free to ask any questions.
Okay. This is the exact size of the Oval Office.
That's right. Welcome, sir, to the Oval Office. The colors of the sofa and the carpet were selected by Patricia Nixon, California blue and gold. The seal in the carpet was previously the same color as the carpet, and she asked that it be made in the blue and gold to have the contrast.
So with this Vietnam War, he inherited the Vietnam War. It was the previous president, Lyndon Johnson, was the president. The Vietnam War already started, and then Johnson decided not to run for re-election. So it was then Nixon, who was running in the Republican and Democrat, was also running. The vice president at that time was Humphrey. So it was Nixon and Humphrey who was on that election, and Nixon really won the election then on that time.
Concerned about the northern neighbors.
Really about baseball.
We're standing by a principle position. And we can also show where we're going
All these pictures are depicting Nixon's visit to China, which was previously China and United States was like kind of an enemy, and it was him who really visited China and reconnected with that country then. The United States and the Soviet Union they are not at war, but they are still at odds. And this one, it's President Nixon and General Secretary Brezhnev signed the interim Strategic Arms Limitation Talks Agreement, or SALT agreement, and that's to limit the nuclear arms in its countries. And in 1972, Nixon became the first US president to visit Moscow in Russia. This is a portion of the Berlin Wall, which was this Berlin Wall was built in 1961, which separates the Soviet-controlled east side of Berlin and the democratic side, West Berlin. So it separates the two Berlins. And actually, it was torn down in 1989. President Nixon with Elvis Presley. In 1971, Richard Nixon signed to lower the voting age from 21 to 18. And in 1973, he also ended the draft or drafting for the armed forces to serve in the military. So it was a volunteer. The military is a volunteer force now since 1973 when Nixon changed that. Before there was desegregation of our schools. When President Richard Nixon became president, 68% of African American students in the South attended segregated schools. This is the family picture. Sitting on the left is Julie, the eldest daughter. The right is Tricia, the youngest daughter. Standing on the left is David Eisenhower, the husband of Julie, the President Nixon, the First Lady Pat, and the husband of Tricia, which is Edward Cox. In 1972, he was re-elected in one of the largest electoral landslides in American history when he defeated George McGovern. The Watergate timeline. By the late 1973, Watergate escalated, costing Nixon much of his political support. On August 9, 1974, facing almost certain impeachment and removal from office, he became the first American president to resign. Afterwards, he was issued a pardon by his successor, Gerald Ford.
Say goodbye to us, and we don't have a good word for it in English. The best is au revoir. We'll see you again. We think that when someone dear to us dies, we think that when we lose an election, we think that when we suffer the defeat, that all is ended.
The last words he spoke as president were
It's only a beginning, always. The young must know it, the old must know it. Because the greatness comes not when things go always good for you, but the greatness comes and you're really tested.
others may
When you take
those who hate you
some knocks, some disappointments, when sadness comes.
then you destroy yourself.
Because only if you've been in the deepest valley can you ever know how magnificent it is to be on the highest mountain.
But he actually participated. I kept trying to.
And so we leave with high hopes, in good spirit, and with deep humility, and very much gratefulness in our heart. I can only say to each and every one of you, not only will we always remember you, not only will we always be grateful to you, always you will be in our hearts, and you will be in our prayers. Thank you very much.
This is a typical uniform of Nixon, and he enlisted in 1942 and was commissioned as a Navy lieutenant and served in the World War II arena.
Our guest is Mr. Richard M. Nixon, former Vice President of the United States, and now the Republican nominee for Governor of California. I think this state needs a 4-year government. I want to be a 4-year government, and I cannot, therefore, run for president.
Society is one of the greatest
was not a convergence of ideas, but a convergence of interests.
This is truly a dramatic moment in the history of foreign affairs of the United States.
While we disagreed totally on ideology, we had one common concern, and that was the role of solidarity that was essential for the United States in moving on in the first revolution.
Let us know what he stood from.
This is going outside to his birthplace and to the helicopter. That house there, that's his birthplace. That's the house where he was born. This is the garden here, filled with a lot of roses. A lot of rose. Richard Nixon's Birthplace. This is the house where President Nixon was born. In 1912, Frank and Hannah Nixon built with modest farmhouse on their small citrus ranch. Here, Richard Nixon was born January 9, 1913, and spent his first 9 years. He served his country as congressman, U.S. Senator, Vice President, and 37th President of the United States from 1969 to 1974. He was the first native-born Californian to hold the presidency. President Nixon achieved significant advances in international diplomacy by ending U.S. involvement in the Vietnam War, opening lines of communication with China and the Soviet Union, and initiating the Middle East peace process. So this is the house that his mom and dad built, and he was born here.
We don't know the manufacturer because nobody has those records. And we know it wasn't Sears and we know it wasn't Orge, which were two of the biggest ones during that period of time. Now, Citrus Farm never really did well. They don't like this. They lived here for 1912. The California pepper tree that you see over here was actually planted by Frank Nixon in 1912. It's still here on the farm. Like I said, the house has never been here. The library is right now. Was an elementary school in 1948. Eventually named the Richard Nixon Elementary School.
There, and I'll stand back here and start chatting away to everybody. It does have an old smell to it. It does, that's because it's an old house. So on January 9th, 1913, Richard Nixon was born in that bed, not the same mattress everybody has. But that is the bedroom, and this is what it looked like back in 1913. The bedding, a lot of it is the same. You know, the doilies on top of the dresser there, the pictures of his maternal grandparents are on there. Above that chair, if you kind of slide over a little bit, she had a fan on her wedding day. So that fan is framed, and you can see that. There was always a baby in the family. Richard Nixon was one of 5 boys. So there was a lot of activity. In National Geographic, that was a popular magazine of the day. And obviously they played musical instruments. Richard Nixon had a wonderful aunt that was a piano teacher, and she taught most of the boys how to play piano and other instruments. He played violin and different instruments. So the piano key that's down, one of the school kids told me, build fireplaces really well. So he did this for other families and made a little money on the side, apparently. This is the wedding picture of Hannah and Frank Nixon. You can see our teeny tiny kitchen, which is known as Hannah's kitchen. So if you just kind of stand over here by the green opera rope, you can see this was really the central place. You can tell this probably kept the family very warm. There's 2 beds basically right above us here. And it was 2 boys to a bed, and that's where they slept. And then there's a very small bathroom.
This is the room where Richard Nixon was born. President Richard Nixon suffered a debilitating stroke on April 18, 1994, and died 4 days later at age 91. Surveys of historians and political scientists have ranked Nixon as a below average president. However, evaluations of him have proven complex, with his successes as president contrasted against the circumstances of his departure from office. This is his burial place. Richard Nixon, 1913 to 1994. The greatest honor history can bestow is the title of peacekeeper. And this is also the burial place of the wife, Patricia Ryan Nixon. So the wife died a year earlier than him. So this is the resting place. So this is the presidential helicopter, Army 1. This was the helicopter of President Nixon when he was vice president, and this was already decommissioned in 1976. So it stopped working in 1976. So it still served President Nixon at the time until 74.
Eventually they'll be in California, but you guys are what, 2035? Yeah, that's going to be the key right here, right there. Just get selling.
helicopter tour is closed this time. This occupies 16 people for transport, and this is like the office of the president when they are in transport. It's for a small flight before going to Air Force One. Seal of the President of the United States. This is the Pat Nixon Amphitheater, and this is the building here where they would have like weddings and any other events that will be held here. Hello, thank you for watching this video. So we are done with our tour in the Richard Nixon Presidential Library and Museum. So I'm gonna end this video, and thank you for watching it, and please like and subscribe. Till next time, bye and take care.